folks, Chris Waters here on the Samsung stage at GameSpot's live show from E3 2014. I just had to hop over from over there, and joining me now on the couch is Juju from Flying Wild Hog. That's the name of the studio, not how you got here, right?
No, yeah.
Oh, that too.
Name of the game.
That too. All right, Juju, you're here to show off Juju. Actually, show off that shirt, because we got the two characters in Juju here. Is that like a
Juju
gecko?
And Peyo.
Juju and Peyo?
Peyo is the other character. He's a sidekick.
You got quite a cheeky little duo there. I like them.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so like you're getting a hint of the aesthetic of the game here. We've got some gameplay to show off, but let's talk about Juju. What kind of game is this?
Yeah, so Juju is a classical side-scrolling 2D platformer with boss fights and secret levels and many more things. But the main feature that we think is the main feature for us is the cooperative mode, which is not a regular cooperative mode, but asymmetric one.
Okay, so you've got Juju and Peyo don't just run along screen side by side.
Yeah. So asymmetric means that players with different skills can play at the same time and both have fun and not get bored.
They are playing at the same time, but they've got different stuff going on.
Yeah, one character requires different skills than the other, so you can play with someone who doesn't need much challenge, one is a better player and one is a beginner player.
Okay, so one of the characters has a little bit more of a skill-based, a timing-based skill set. So we're seeing this is just a one-player.
Yeah, this is a single-player part of the game. I mean, you can play all the levels in single-player or in multiplayer. In fact, the second player can opt in or opt out at any time in the middle of the level or in the middle of a boss fight or anything. Or
if they get a better offer, they can just run out of the living room and go do something else?
Yeah, because sometimes someone gets a phone call or something like that, and the other player can continue gameplay without waiting for him. It's especially important with kids, because kids sometimes want to play with you and sometimes they just stare and don't want to go forward, so you can continue playing, and when they get interested again, they can grab a controller and continue with you.
So definitely a very family-friendly sort of focused game.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we see the multiplayer happening and Peyo tagging along, sort of doing a little float action with the belly bloat. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, so there are multiple skills that you learn as you play through the game. So one of the skills is floating in the air, and Peyo is being inflated when he can float in the air and slowly drop. So
and then there's the roll.
Yeah, there's a roll. We call it dash. So with dash you can dash, for example, come over obstacles or defeat enemies. It's the sort of attack.
What are all these things that they are grabbing here?
These are ambers. At the beginning of the game, it's explained that the main enemy, the main foe that you are defeating, is chained by a set of ambers. And when he escapes into that world and corrupted this world, he throws those ambers around the world. You have to gather all of them to access enemies, bosses, and final boss, and defeat him and get rid of him.
All right. So you're grabbing those, but then you're also occasionally hitting these little nuts and busting them open and like doing some dance moves. Did I see that right?
Yeah. So there are a few skills that you learned, because the story is that your father, Jumpy, was kidnapped, and you, a young shaman panda, get a shaman mask from him.
Okay.
And you learn a few skills by using this mask. One of skill is dashing, one of skill is chanting and dancing. And by chanting and dancing you can activate some items or stun enemies by making them dance to your chanting. So it's a way of stunning enemies and making them easier to defeat.
I mean, you know, an enemy can't be attacking you if they're dancing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hardcore in this game is that you make them dance and then you can kill them by dancing.
That took a dark turn there, Juju.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, they're bad guys. At least they died in a joyful fashion.
Yeah.
It's
not like dying. You're just freeing them from the evil.
Free from the spell of the evil guy. But dancing is not. It sort of very in sync with the playful tone of Juju.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you guys are really
exactly.
leaning into that colorful, fun kind of aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. There's some music vibes to it. There are items that can be activated by dancing or throwing those notes, so you can see what you can activate with that.
At any point, do you encourage the players to take a little break, put the controller down and dance? That's my dance move.
yeah.
It's terrible. They're
We can
not
think
good.
about it. Good idea.
All right, so now we're onto this sort of beach world, and everything is kind of like inflated like beach
yeah,
toys.
they're inflated balloons, inflated items. So it's an underwater world. So you part of it you play on the surface, but part of it you can dive into water and swim. But the unique thing is that we have inflated environment here.
Very important
So
question.
even enemies are inflated. Yeah.
Can you dance underwater?
Yes, you can.
All right,
You
good.
can even play music underwater. Come on.
And yeah, I mean, you know, music underwater, that's how whales talk, right?
Yeah.
So like clearly you guys had a lot of fun just designing these silly, like colorful worlds.
Yeah.
Definitely kind of harkens back, like another game I was demoing on stage over there, Fly Hunter Origins.
Yeah.
Harkens back to this sort of heyday of fun, goofy mascot platformers in colorful
Yeah,
worlds.
exactly. It's a classical platformer game. So, well, we did different kind of games before, but at some age, you just come back to the roots when you played classical platformers like Mario games and Donkey Kong games, and you want to do something like that. The other thing is that, for example, I have a 6-year-old child with whom I would like to play games.
Yeah,
And
of course.
maybe not Call of Duty or Battlefield games, but
Or Shadow Warrior.
yeah, or Shadow Warrior, for example. But something that I can play with him and have fun with him, and not and that he would have fun with me. So I couldn't find really anything that would be played that way. So that's when the idea came to do something
To
like
do something
that.
like this.
Yeah.
And so, how does he like it?
He loves it.
Yeah.
We do a lot of focus testing on kids,
Yeah.
small kids like from 6 to 10 years old, and, and
What
you get
kind of what kind of feedback do you get from giving a kid that age at the game? I mean, you can watch them play and see. You could count their smiles per minute or how many times, where they're getting
for
stuck.
example, we can show them a panda bear, because the main hero is a panda bear, pink panda bear. But we show them white panda bear and this pink one, and they said, no, the white panda bear seems sad. This pink is funny. So they have strange ideas about the game.
But they're very insightful as to, a pink panda bear. It seems a little
his
more
sidekick lizard.
jovial. Yeah. Maybe more games should do that. Start a kid focus testing lab.
Yeah, also kids don't look at technical graphical features like specular bump mapping, shaders, etc.
The kids aren't asking you if it runs in 60 frames per
yeah,
second at 1080p.
they look at it.
Yeah.
They don't. They see if graphics is vivid and colorful. They like it.
They like
So
it. And vivid and colorful, you guys have nailed here
Yeah.
with Juju.
I hope so.
What platform is this being played on right now?
So right now it's on PC and PlayStation 3 in digital. So PSN and Steam. We are also working on XBLA version for Xbox 360. But I can confirm PS3 and Steam
PS3
so far.
and Steam.
This fall.
Very cool.
Maybe XBLA as well.
Maybe XBLA. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So wait, what happens? I noticed. We've got the heart meters on here. What happens when they fall onto some cartoony inflated spikes? Did they sort of pop back in, or do you have to sort of go back to the beginning?
In multiplayer, it works that way that if one character gets bubbled, he becomes a bubble. The other character can play on, and the first character can respawn at his point. So the only way to die in multiplayer mode is that if both characters die at the same time.
Both get bubbled?
Yeah. If both get bubbled, they get back to checkpoint and have to restart. But it's pretty hard to do it in
now,
multiplayer.
Of course, you just want folks to enjoy the game. It's not necessarily about that challenge that a lot of other games sort of go for.
Yeah,
now,
but there are also more hardcore modes in this game.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because we wanted to do a game that is its challenge is adapting to the player, so everybody can find something for him.
So if you come to it and you want that tougher challenge,
Yeah.
you can find it.
Yeah, so for example, all the levels have secrets in them, and in this secrets there are mini levels with challenges, timed challenges, like you have 30 seconds to gather all ambers from a room, and if you complete all of them, you unlock a hardcore level for certain world, and after beating the hardcore level, which is pretty challenging, you unlock a hardcore mode for the whole game.
Oh, okay.
So then you can play, but you have only one heart, and you can get additional hearts. So one hit means that
It's
you are
over.
dead, and you have to
You gotta be
start over.
flawless.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing one of the boss battles you mentioned play
Yeah.
out here with this giant octopus, which
Yeah,
I like
inflated
the
octopus.
I like the plug on the inflatable octopus's head. That's a really nice touch.
Thanks.
Reminds me of the beach toys I used to play with back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is sort of, those big scale multi-stage. You
Yeah,
get to the
exactly.
end boss and like, oh god, there's a whirlpool all of a sudden.
Yeah, so as you can see, there are multiple stages of boss fights. So you can learn its patterns and repeat each stage and learn what happens in the next stage. And also the interesting things about boss fights, we have 9 boss fights altogether.
Okay.
But you meet each boss twice, each of first 4 boss fights twice. The first time you meet him, after you defeat him, he doesn't die, he just escapes and leaves you a special skill, like for example,
the classic escape.
yeah, like a skill of floating in midair,
Oh, okay.
like you saw inflated lizard. That was a learned skill. And in the second encounter of that boss fight, you need to use that specific skill to defeat him. So, like for example, in this boss fight, you learned skill of swimming underwater and diving before in the first encounter of octopus, inflated octopus, and now you have to use this swimming underwater to defeat him. And
so, you're building skills throughout. Just get a couple new tricks throughout the game to sort of play around
so
with.
For each boss, you get additional skill that you can use throughout the game. You can backtrack to previous levels and use that skill to fight enemies and to make better score, for example.
All right. The more we see, the more you tell me about it. It really is just taking me back to these days of like renting a Sega game on the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a game like this, playing with my little brother, or selfishly denying him the opportunity to play, as all older brothers sometimes do.
Yeah.
But it just puts a smile on your face.
Yeah, we hope so.
All right, it looks like this boss battle is getting real heated. Who's this guy like banging on the belly bongos?
This is a totem that you can activate with music throughout the game. He opens some passages, but here he's used to
vanquish the boss.
vanquish the boss, exactly.
And now, of course, we have to have a dance party.
Yeah, this is a staff that you get from the second encounter of the boss. If you complete that staff, you can unlock the passage to the final foe at the end of the game and defeat him and rescue your father.
Very cool. Well, Claudiusz, Juju, looking delightful, looking like a really fun sort of
Thank you very much.
father-son game, or brother-sister game.
Yeah, sometimes older gamers less skillful than younger, so it can be played vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely.
You never know.
Absolutely a good point. Parents whose kids clamor for video games, but maybe haven't grown up playing games, don't know
they
it
can
themselves.
introduce their parents to play games.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, and so you said PlayStation 3 and Steam confirmed, working on XBLA, but
Yeah, exactly.
what's your targeted release date for Juju?
Fall 2014, so it's soon.
Very soon. Claudiusz, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much. It was a
showing
pleasure.
it off here on the stage at E3 2014. We are going to be back with some goblin platforming stealth action in sticks. But before we go do that, we're going to head up to the GameSpot newsroom, do a check-in on the latest news here at E3.